Croeso I bysgota Cymru. Welcome to Fishing in Wales.
Well guys, I've taken a short journey up the M4 today from Cwmbran up to the west of Cardiff. I'm here on Tri Nant Fishery. Not a bad water at all. 3 lakes here. For £10 you get a day's fishing, and I'm hoping there's going to be some great fishing to be had. I've been told by a few people that's fished here that we should have a few bites. There's lots of venues around South Wales, Mid Wales, all the way across the country. Similar to this, we've got a couple of lakes on a complex, and you can go for carp, you can catch rudd, you can catch roach, perch, just turn up, have a look on Fishing in Wales website, because they've got an itinerary of venues across Wales that you can just click on, see the local information. Costs vary between £5 and £10 to fish on a venue like this, but today it's £10 a ticket. I'm going to get on a box a little bit later and talk you through rigs. But it's all going to be about entry-level fishing, where you guys might not have been before, or you're thinking of going with taking your boy or your girl out for a day's fishing, and this can be done on a real budget, and you can have a great day's fishing. Right, first chuck guys, single maggot, and we've hooked something with a bit of reckoning here today. First cast, and we're already take our time with him, because this is a good fish, this is. Not sure yet what it is. It could be a small carp, could be a tench. There's all sorts of fish in here today. But we're here to try and catch silverfish and roach, but whether or not we can land this, we'll soon see. I'm taking my time and keeping that whip nice and low where I can. And I'll try and let that fish wear himself out a little bit. Straight away, that was literally first chuck. You're not ready to net yet. Take your time. If you've got a nice little fish on like this, you don't want to be rushing it. We've got the shock absorber for this is the whip. If you can see the shape of that whip now, it was lovely bend in that. And that is letting us play this lovely little carp without snapping our line. We're just going to take our time, slide it over the top of that net, and we got him. Right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place the whip just under the corner of my leg there. If you're on a chair or a box, you can do the same. And I'm picking this fish up, trying to, with my fingers just underneath his fins on the side there. There's a lovely little carp to start the day. Just going to talk you through a bit of ground bait mixing. There's a lot of people that know what to do with their ground baits. There's a lot out there who might never pick the bag of this stuff up. So basically it's just in a powder form. Tip a bag into the bucket, and what this is sort of breadcrumbs, bits of biscuits, all sorts of bits and bobs ground up to attract the fish into your swim. And all you do with that, obviously you can't throw it out like that as powder, so it'll just float. So what we do, get a good glug of water in there. I'm going to mix this very wet today, because we're going to be fishing a whip and we're going to be throwing by hand. I've got a wet mix, and we're just looking so we can squeeze it with one hand, and we can then just throw that in over our swim. If it was too dry, we'd have to be trying to use 2 hands to ball it up. But what we're going to do is just keep that nice and wet. One hand, squeeze it in, keep it nice and easy. And we'll come back to that in a bit when we're going to push it through the riddle and show you guys what it comes out like. So you might see a lot of fishing videos out on YouTube. You're looking in the magazines. Very often what you're seeing is guys like myself that do a lot of match fishing and been doing a hobby for years, and we've been spending lots and lots of money in tackle shops and online. Don't feel you got to be that man or boy, girl to be able to enter into the world of fishing. You can get down to your local tackle shop or online, but try and support your local tackle shops if you can. You can buy yourself a nice little 4 metre whip like that for around £20. Get yourself a landing net pole and a nice little landing net spoon there. Again, you're going to get both of them for £20. You know, have a word with your tackle dealer, tell them you're new to fishing, and they're going to sort you a nice little package out. Stuff like disgorgers, a little bit of ledge, you know, artificial ledge shot there, and a little plummet. You don't need a lot for this type of fishing. I got a simple rig here, which I'll go into later when we're catching a few fish, just to demonstrate how we use that. Again, my side tray, all that consists of is the maggot and the ground bait. Just going to run you through now, guys, what we're using here today. Now, got a whip which is made out of carbon. It's very, very light. As I touched on earlier, £20. You can pay anything from £10 actually, right up to hundreds of pounds for one of these. But £10–20 whip is ideal for this sort of fishing. Nice and soft. And we're using, I got a £6 line on there, which goes from my hook length, which is down here, to the tip. And the reason I got £6 is it's robust. You could use a lighter line, but where we're in and out all day, in and out, it's going to have a lot of wear on it. So we want a nice solid line. But the business end of the rig is the hook length, which I got a size 16 hook, nice and small for them roach to get in their mouths, but still big enough to hit the bites well. And I got an 011, which is equal to, I should imagine in this range, is about a £3 line. So what that'll do is, it's nice and fine, so it's not so visible for the fish, but more so is if I was to hook a bonus fish, I still stand a very good chance of getting it out. But if I was to tie that £6 line right through and I snapped up, I could potentially lose the float, the whole rig. But what happens there, because we've got a lighter line down the bottom, if we do get a boat, you know, if we do hook something really big or foul hook a carp, when you foul hook them, they do charge off crazy. All that we're going to lose is that bottom 6 inches of our rig. And I got a little loop, overhand loop tied the bottom, and these pre-tied hook lengths come with a loop, and you just put a loop inside of one another and you're straight back out fishing again. So that's very crucial, is to have a nice little lighter line, £3 to a £5–6, so you can always just change. If hook goes blunt, you can change that as well. We're trying to catch these fish now falling through the water, so a lot of our lead shot weight there is around the float. Right, and that's what that does, is you put enough on there to be able to sink that float to around about this depth. And we want it a bit more sensitive than that. So what I've done then is I put a small trimmer shot down the bottom. It's not a big chunky shot, this is just a number 8, which that will allow us then for it to fall a lot slower through the water. And then when that settles down the bottom like so, what's going to happen is that float is just going to pull down and settle. You know, you only want about 5–10 mil of float showing and make it visible, but you want it really sensitive. So that is a very simple way to set it up, and hopefully you guys can sort of copy that. So if you're stuck with anything, just drop us a message on the page or on the website, and I can always go through it or send you some links to setting this up. So we'll carry on with our fishing. We've had a few, and hopefully we'll get a few more in the bag for you a little bit later on. Well, we've got another one on here, guys. Another small carp, I think. I've had a couple of little roach, but there seems to be a lot of these little carp in here, which is great fun on light outfit like this. And there's no reason why you can't, you know, feed a couple of maggot while you're playing a fish. Look, that's easy enough. And I'll keep your swim going. Give me a right run around this one. The way it's going in circles, I'm not sure if it's a little tench. Often you find tench, you'll just go round, hug the bottom and swim in little circles. I'm not sure yet. We just had a little glimpse, didn't work it out. And I'll keep that net at the ready, because you never know when they're going to give themselves up. But you know, there's no need to have it all the way out there like this, because you're going to be struggling. So just have it next to you like that, on your leg. Another little carp this is. I'm only on a small size 16 hook. I'm trying to catch some roach and some silverfish and a bit of a mixed bag, so don't use too big a hook, because you'll sort of stop yourself catching them small stuff. Here we go, lovely. Just using my leg here just to slide that net back across, look. Again, put that under there. It's a lovely little common carp, that. Just hooked in the lip. Lovely. I'm going to go back onto the rig a minute. Now as the day's progressing, we're an hour or so in, I've noticed that little and often approach with a maggot has done what I thought would happen. The fish are starting to boil on the top. You know, that means that they're feeding shallow. So the sort of 4 foot of depth we were fishing earlier was a bit, I wouldn't say pointless, but you're not going to get as many bites. So what I've done is I've shallowed up, and that little trimmer shot that I had down there to help the line sink going through the, you know, slowly through the water, I've actually pushed right up to my bulk there now. So that is going to fall as natural as possible there now. But the, you know, the reason being with that shallow rig there is the fish are up in the water and we don't want to present the bait below them. So we've come up into the depth they're sat in, and it's leading to more bites, better bites, and putting more fish in the net. So simple little changes like that where you can keep an eye on your swim. If you see them fish coming up, alter your rig back and forth. You haven't always got a fish on the bottom. Just throw some maggot. If you see them showing, you know, follow them up and down in the water. If the bites go a bit slower and you don't see them up on the top, then you can go a bit deeper again. But you know, a very good little trick that is just to come a bit shallow when you see them there, just to get you them bites a bit quicker. Right, wow, what a day I've had. I've had a good 3 or 4 hours fishing here on Tri Nant, just west of Cardiff. I've been fishing our whip all day, trying to catch these fish shallow, lots of roach and stuff like that. I've had the odd go on the deck, where I've had 2 lovely bream as well. On top of this bag, you know, I got probably 22, 23 pound of silvers here, small roach and the bream, a couple of perch. But on top of this, I've put back 25 to 30 small stocky carp as well. Excellent fishery. And a great place to come if you guys, you know, if you're a novice or a beginner or you've never ever got into this sort of sport fishing, it's great. Get down here and give it a go. Fantastic. And I'll put these back and I'll catch you guys again. Cheers. Right guys, closing off the day today, I got a little bit of a giveaway for you today. M5 Angling have given us a bucket of census goodies, a few bits in there and a whip. To be a part of this, you need to like, comment and subscribe on the video. Within a week of this video going live, the guys will be doing a random draw, and good luck to the winners.
Discover fishing in Wales.